All right, now we're going to look at the solutions to worksheet 2.2. So thank you for watching. Here we go. So it says sketch the velocity versus time graph that corresponds to descriptions of motion of a toy car. So it says a toy car starts at positive 5 meters. Let's draw ourselves a little picture here. Here is 0, here is positive 5. This would be the positive direction. That's going to be the negative direction. The toy car starts right here, and it heads away from the origin. Okay, so the origin is the 0, 0, so it heads away from that. So that means the toy car is going in that direction, which is the positive direction. Okay, so positive direction tells us we're up here. So in that case, we would, and then it's a constant speed, so it's a positive velocity and it's constant, so it's going to look like that, right? Positive because it's traveling away from the origin, starts at 5 and is moving away from the origin, so that tells us it's moving to the right, and so that tells us that we're up here above the axis, and then the constant speed tells us that it's a flat horizontal line. A car that's standing still has a velocity of 0. So there you go, right? So that line reads 0 no matter what time you look at it. The velocity of the car is 0. Car starts at negative 4 meters and moves towards the origin at a constant speed for 10 seconds, then stands still for 10 seconds. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Here we are at negative 4. We got our negative numbers over here. We have 0 right here, positive numbers over on this side. And so our little car starts here. It moves towards the origin, so that's going to be, again, the positive direction. It does that for 10 seconds, so who knows how far it goes, doesn't really matter. And then it just stops, right? So we know that it's going to travel in the positive direction for 10 seconds, and then it's going to stop for 10 seconds. So then it'll have a velocity of 0 for 10 seconds. So next up, we have a car that starts here at negative 8 meters. And here's our 0, positive 8, positive numbers, doesn't really matter. It starts at 8 meters, so it's going to start, well, car, it's going to start here, and it's going to travel away from the origin. So that tells us that it's going to travel that way, which is the negative direction, right? It's going to the left, so negative direction. So it's going to have a negative velocity to begin with for 10 seconds. Then it's going to reverse direction, meaning it's going to now go in the positive direction. So let's see here, 10 seconds is going to be right here. So negative direction for 10 seconds, then positive direction for 10 seconds, right? So here's our 20 right there. So that's what that one's going to look like. These should be, right, basically the same distance off the time axis, right? So whatever kind of distance that is, this should be the same height of it, simply because it's the same velocity, right? So if this is representing like negative 5 meters per second, then this is representing positive 5 meters. It's not crucial, just something you should, way it should be at least. Okay, next one is to take this position versus time graph and make a velocity versus time graph. So we just need to be able to find the slope. So in this case, right, the slope is up 1 over 1. So the slope would be 1, right? That's the slope or a velocity of 1 meter per second. So, and it does that for 4 seconds. So should look like that. We have two different slopes here. So the beginning part of number 6 has a slope of up 2 over 1. So that's going to have a slope of 2 meters per second. Then it has a slope of up 1 over 2. So that's going to have a slope of 1/2 or 0.5 meters per second. So for the first second, it has a slope of, right, it's got a velocity of 2 meters per second. And then for the last 4 seconds, so between 1 and 5 seconds, it's going to have a slope of 1/2 right there in the middle. Last one here. So the first half of the graph, or first part of the graph, has a slope of 1, up 1 over 1, so 1 meter per second, positive. Then it has a slope of down to over 1, down to over 1. So that's going to have a slope of -2 meters per second, or a velocity of -2 meters per second. So between 0 and 2 seconds, its velocity is 1 meter per second. And then between 2 and 4 seconds, it has a velocity of -2. So something like that. So that's that. Hopefully that answers your questions. As always, if you do have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. But yeah, hope this went well. Thank you.